Welcome to another episode of the Chris, Rod, Max Show. Every week, together with AI founders, we discuss about what's happening in the AI space, what is it that they're doing, and how they are impacting industries and our society. And before we get started, remember that we have our newsletter on our website, chrisrodmax.com. Subscribe there to get the latest news, the updates, and all of our shows. And today we have as our guest, Hatem. Hatem, he is a co-founder and CTO of Inboundr.ai. We will discuss with him what it means to build a product around AI agents, how did he get started, and how did he see the space of AI agents. So, Hatem, welcome. Thank you for being here today.
Thanks, Rod. Alec, thanks for having me. Again, I'm Hatem. I'm CTO and co-founder of Inboundr, which is an AI agent for content creation. We help professionals build their personal brand through content that is authentic, and also we have them with building the habit of posting regularly.
And of course, we have our two co-hosts, Chris and Max. Hi, Chris. Hi, Max.
Hi, everyone. Good to be back. Excited about hearing your story, Hatem.
Cool. Let's start there, Hatem. So how did it start? So tell us about the day one. How did you have this idea of having an agent for content creation in social media? How did that happen?
Yeah, so actually, me and my co-founder, Sean, we started this after a failure. So we had the startup on the food industry. It was like a homemade food delivery app that we had to shut down because it was going viral in the city, and then the government called us and say, guys, you are risking to be to have an amount so a $20,000 fine. So we had to shut up that startup and build a new one, and we had like a ton of ideas. And then Sean started talking about inbound marketing. And to be honest with you, at that time, I didn't know what's inbound at all. So he had to teach me what's inbound marketing. And it was the end of the 2023. So a lot of people were revising their sales quota. And at that time, a lot of people realized that they will never reach their quota. And the only one who reached the quota are people who were creating content, especially on LinkedIn. So this is how we started focusing on this problem.
So out of necessity, so you had to find something new and then turn out to be here inbound marketing. And I found that this interesting in that. So Chris, you are not super active in social media. And then Hatem has Inboundr, right? And then with Inboundr, if I understand it, it is that it generates for you just topics and posts that you can just copy paste and get engagement on your profile. Is that correct, Hatem?
Yeah, so basically we help you capture the best moments of your, let's say, this podcast or any YouTube URL you have or any Slack discussion you have. So in Inboundr, we capture everything and propose you the best things to talk about on LinkedIn, whether it's success or failure. So if you go to my LinkedIn, yesterday I had a big bug in my software. And I had, Inboundr proposed me that topic, and it was a bug, but it was really, authentic story to say. So this is the type of topics that we miss as a human. We have a lot to say, but just like sometimes we are shy. Sometimes we think that just like talking about success is the only way to build a brand. But honestly, people will like react to your post only when you're authentic, and part of it is a failure, right?
So essentially what I'm understanding, it's a tool or product that helps to turn any information, bits and pieces into some coherent content that can be reshared. And tell us a little bit more, how do you get to a very natural tone? I mean, if you use, some of these foundational models like ChatGPT or whatever, like by now, I think everyone can tell whether a text is actually composed by an AI or whether it's by a human.
Great question. So actually, we have our chief innovation officer. He's focusing only on that, on how making a content authentic first. So our AI agent go to your LinkedIn profile, your any blog and podcast you have participated in, and with that, it knows how you talk and know what kind of words you use. Are you North American? Are you African? So all this, it plays on your, the way you express yourself. So our AI agent capture that regularly. So also, like, as a human, you evaluate and you learn new words. So our AI agent learn with you. Anything you share, it will learn for your tone and apply to any post it generates.
I guess my follow-up question, Hatem, is that, how long will it take, I guess, your system to learn until it learn, I guess, to speak like how I speak, or speak like how you speak?
It depends on how on your presence online. Some people never posted before, never participated in a podcast like this one. So since AI agent first, it will help you start getting started, right? So even if you don't have a tone, that's okay. But just like the idea is like getting started, find your tone. And when you refine it, the AI agent will learn with you and try to improve the way you express yourself on LinkedIn. So that's okay if you don't have a tone. You just start somewhere, and then it will fix itself.
That's interesting because if I think about how people use LinkedIn, it's a little bit more of a bimodality where you have users that are posting daily almost, and then there are others that have never posted. The profile is just like a CV. So for those who have never been active, and given that Inboundr looks at the post history in order to adjust the topics and also the voice and so on, how does Inboundr react to what it does when the profile is just a set of entries, a CV, and nothing else? How does Inboundr help them? How can they get started if they're not naturally social media people?
Yeah, actually, we faced that. It was one of the first thing we discussed with our users. So a lot of users are shy, or like they don't want to share, especially if your boss is on the same platform, right? It's not like Facebook where you have like your kids. Now it's like a place where all your, the people you work with, your clients are there. So you want to be very professional. So it's like there is a kind of pressure on people. And, I saw people, writing a post and then like they paste it on LinkedIn, which like they're hitting that posting button. It was so hard for them. They couldn't do it just like because they don't want to lose their job because they're like saying what they think, honestly, because most of people are fake on LinkedIn. It's like they share news and stuff, but like being authentic, it's really hard, and not a lot of people will reach that level. But we help them start with something that is not necessarily an opinion or something, right? It's just like you can share news, you can share other people's opinions. You don't have to share your own opinion. Let's say I like your opinion about the agents. I can share it. I don't have to say it's me, but at least I broadcast things and build kind of personal brand around the problem I want.
Hatem, you're talking about a very important point, which I've heard many, many times, which is I don't want to post on LinkedIn because it's very hard for me to be authentic, to sound authentic for various reasons. Now, as the CTO of the company, how do you teach the model which parts of the bits and pieces of information is really relevant or highlight, and especially for this particular person's audience?
Good question. So actually, we analyzed a lot of data. It's been a year and 5 months that we are doing this. So we tried multiple ideas to find that authenticity. You will see like some people using templates and trying to fit everything in one template, but it's also like it sounds like it's not a human. It's like more AI driven content. In our case, we don't pre-train the model on a specific template or anything. It just like really learn from you how you write. So this is why it's authentic. There is no template, nothing is predefined. Like every user comes with his own tone, his own way of writing. And this is why like no one of my users look the same. We have like 500 users right now. And they're all different. And sometimes even me, I don't recognize my post that was generated by my own AI. So I think it's is that piece where we fix it that other AIs couldn't do.
Just a follow-up question, I guess, from the authenticity. I think the other thing that I've been thinking about as well, on the content side, there are people who are generally a little bit more comfortable talking about certain things. They will use certain type of lingo. I guess my question to you is, how do you find, I guess, the right content? Is it by plugging into, you mentioned a little bit about, scraping LinkedIn. Sometimes they have it, sometimes they don't. What kind of data sources also do you try to, I guess, get there to actually, I would say, learn or mimic some of the things that, someone would talk about in the way they would talk about it?
We have multiple data sources. So we have the internal ones. We're talking about Slack channels, meeting notes, meeting transcripts, any document that was shared on the Slack channels. Everything will be analyzed, including screenshots. If you share a screenshot with your team, if you share a PDF, all this will be analyzed by our AI agent. So it has the context of like what you did today and what kind of problem you faced and solved, right? So that's the first part, the internal subjects. The second part is the external, which is basically trend topics. Like every day we have trending topics. Now it's AI agent, tomorrow something else. So our AI agent capture always like the articles and any new research that was released, even tweets, LinkedIn, any kind of source data for your personal brand. So it depends. If I'm professor, I will look for researchers. I will read like more heavy documents, and that's what the AI will look for. If I'm like kind of a founder, maybe I will check tweets, and that's how it works.
Hatem, going back to the early days, so you say that you started originally with the like food delivery that didn't work for multiple reasons, and then you say let's do inbound marketing. What was the original vision for like a first version? What do you say? This is the first thing that we want to release, and how long did it take you to have this live?
So actually, when I started, it was like I was telling Sean, yeah, this is easy. We will build it like in 2 weeks, and we will release. Because with the food app, it was like that. We build it in 2 weeks, and we release. With this problem, actually, it's with AI agents. I realized that people are looking for quality, not just quantity. If you want quantity, use ChatGPT. If you want quality, you need more research. Some people are paying like $5,000 to $12,000 for a ghostwriter. It's a huge money that they invest just to build their personal brand. So we realized that the quality is the real need, and that's what will be our real differentiator than any other competitor. So this was the goal: build the best authentic AI agent ever in marketing. It took us at the beginning. I challenged Sean, my co-founder, to basically find the waiting list or build the waiting list of 200 users. In a week, he had 200 users, and I'm talking about big companies, not just like kids on LinkedIn. He like found like really big companies looking for solutions, because at that moment, even big advisors like Gartner or McKinsey were all mentioning that it's time to create content, and all this chief of marketing were looking for a solution. And we arrived exactly at the right time, because they imagine you read the paper of Gartner yesterday, I come tomorrow and say, by the way, I have a solution for you. Basically, we didn't have the technology, but we had the vision of that product.
That makes a lot of sense. Hatem, I understand a couple of features that you guys are building towards is this personalized EA. I think all of us dreamed about this, secretly, like EA that could like do all the chores, all the menial tasks. And it sounds like you guys are going into that direction with summarization, with, trying to do some research based on bits and pieces by creating posts and content. On your website, I saw that you guys integrate into Slack. And I think for our audience, it would be really helpful to understand like how to use Inboundr, where to find it, which channels, is it also on Slack that I need to draft my LinkedIn post, or how does it work?
So actually, we have two versions. The first version we built was a Slack app. So basically, you install it on your Slack as any app. Probably have one if you're using Slack. And the reason why we built Slack app is we found that like we want a tool that is in the comfort zone of users. If you want to convince a CEO to start using a new web app, good luck. He has like already like 200 solutions that he never used. And the thing with LinkedIn is the consistency. If you are consistent, you will build your personal brand. If you're not consistent, you will never build your personal brand. So we choose Slack for that, because it's the place where people cannot miss. You will never miss a Slack notification. And this is how like all my, my clients, they receive at 8 a.m. their topics. And believe me, if it arrives like at 8:05, they will call me like, Hatem, where are my topics? And, seeing this kind of, CEOs like who are really busy and making millions, like looking for their topics of the day, because they know that if I send them email, they will miss it. If I send them anything else, they will miss it except Slack notification, because that's where their team is. Now we are building a web app. We will launching it by end of month. And that web app is made for everyone. So people who don't use the Slack, we have like a huge waiting list of this kind of people that we purposely, didn't serve for like the last 6 months. Now we have the bandwidth for them, and we are building a web app. And that web app will basically be focused on, trending topics. Some people don't have Slack channels. They don't use any kind of messaging system. So we basically give them only the trend topics and a couple of other features that I will show later. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe a follow-up question on this one, since you are talking a lot about the use case around LinkedIn and building a social brand. Have you guys ever thought about going down the video route? And I asked this question because obviously now more and more video content format is actually popular to get awareness, to get attention. I even think that LinkedIn replaced one of the menu buttons with videos now to show short reel. What's your take on this?
So LinkedIn and like all the other platforms, they're trying to catch up with TikTok, right? So the TikTok is like, it is making a huge, building a huge thing with the videos. So they want all to capture their piece of market of that. The thing with LinkedIn, I don't see a C-level person spending hours recording a video. If you check that video, I checked the video section, and most of the time are marketers. Or like even if it's you will see like he was basically forced to do it. I realized that just the people on LinkedIn right now they write a lot of text, and it's still like the number one source of data, and that's what LinkedIn tried multiple things. They tried the carousel. I think now is less trendy. People maybe don't engage with it a lot. Platforms like this try always like new ways to create content. But for sure, if you want to start, you will not start with videos. You will start with text. That's the easiest way, the most natural way. And then if you reach a point where you're good with text, I think that's a good moment to start, and creating videos and carousels and stuff. But it will be a huge thing. Video in general, it's a huge thing. We did a proof of concept with that. So we will be basically with the text, because we already analyzing videos. We just don't offer you the video part. We give you a text. Now we will also give you the video part, so we will basically know which part of your video you mention in this topic, and we give it to you, so you can basically share it along with your post. Yeah. But that's the future. We have the video and the images coming soon. It's just like a matter of time.
And Hatem, so you were also mentioning that you have now an innovation person that's really looking how can this text sound as natural and on voice as possible. I was wondering here, given that you had before this sort of idea, I imagine for this food app, you have already a team in place. Were you able to move with this existing team and develop this new topic, or you had to hire new profiles? How did you go about the team building process?
Good question. So we started, me and Sean, right? So that's how we started on 2023. Then we realized that we need AI expert, someone who I do a lot of things. I do DevOps. I do, anything from backend, front end, and everything in between. Also, I do the support. So it's a lot for me to do everything and do it well. So what we did is we brought two other co-founders. One is they are both ex-Microsoft. One is his name is MG. So he has the best course on machine learning on Udemy. If you go to Udemy, type machine learning, he will be the first guy. He has 20,000 students. And also he's a YouTuber, 1,000 followers. So that guy is our innovation officer. And the other co-founder is Samir, who is like a professor at McMaster and also one of the top 200 employees at Microsoft worldwide. So we brought like the best from Microsoft on this field, the AI, and we actually it wasn't hard to convince them to build an AI agent because they knew what's coming. You know, when you work for Microsoft, you have the trends from internally. They call it dog food. So anything that Microsoft built, they will try to dog food it to their employees before it get released. So they knew that it will be it will be something huge, and this is why like they accepted it. And now with my development team, actually I didn't have to look like for new devs because I already trained a lot of people. For the last 4 or 5 years, I've been training a lot of interns, around 40 interns in general. And also I had my own team. I was a tech lead, so I knew who's good and who's bad, and I brought the best developer from my previous experience. His name is Adit. So me and Adit, we built software for multiple U.S. government agencies. So I know exactly what he's capable of. Do you want to join me? And he said yes. So this is how I built the first team. Then we expanded. Same thing with my designer. My designer has been like, actually, I had to stop asking her for logos because every 6 months I asked her for a new logo from a new startup. And she was there for a degree from the high school, actually. So yeah, that's my team.
So for those who are trying to do a company and then they want to bring high profiles into the team, your advice will be share the vision, have some very interesting story, because apparently in your case, what convinced all these big names from Microsoft to join you was that they heard, hey, AI agents for marketing, B2B, super exciting, I should join this team.
Yeah, because so I knew them before. Just like, it wasn't hard to convince them about the problem itself. Again, my co-founder is a YouTube, creator, so he knows like the impact of the personal brand on the business. And the other guy is the same thing. He sold the AI for all the Canadian ministries here. So he was like, he built like a huge sales pipeline for Microsoft. So they knew that it can be solved and it's also impactful on people's life. So it was natural for them to say yes. And also they know me, they trust me. So they liked what I did with Simply Eats because again, we went viral with Simply Eats. So there's like, this guy is able to build a startup and, build it fast and solve a problem and commit to it. So he was like, yeah, let's do it. And it's been a year that we were together.
Looking at the business model, so we can see for the pricing that it starts at $80 per month plus $30 per each user. And for some, that may sound a bit steep if we think, hey, ChatGPT costs around $20 per month.
Yeah.
But also you were saying that some CEOs are paying for ghostwriters thousands of dollars. What has been the reception for specific pricing, and how did you come up with this number?
Great question, actually. So in general, when you see the pricing evolve, like for the last 20 years, it evolved a lot, right? Now, like 2-3 years, right now is the subscription model, but it was something as like 3-4 years before, right? And now we are seeing a new trend on pricing, which some people call the value as a service. We don't offer SaaS anymore. We offer value, right? And when you see ChatGPT, it's a general. Think about it as a generalist, something like someone who knows a little bit of everything about any other subject, right? But it's not an expert. So if you find like someone like in a mall, like you will not pay him like $200 to create your post. You maybe like $15, $20. That's okay, right? Because he's not an expert. Now like with AI agents, we are building kind of experts in one domain. My AI agent do one thing, AI like LinkedIn post, but it does it better than any other ghostwriter, right? So it's expertise that is in demand, and some people are looking for the quality, and that's what we are offering.
And just to follow up on that, right? I was thinking about, you mentioned you have some clients using that today. How do they think about the, I guess, marginal gains from Inbound? I'm pretty sure, they measure all sorts of metrics. Would love to hear a little bit about, the conversation that you have had with your clients, especially around pricing around the value that you're adding to them? Because if they're willing to pay, clearly this is too lower than the value that they're receiving. So I'd love to hear a little bit about that.
So actually, all our clients tried different things, different products before. So they know, like, they were looking for shopping for new solutions. So it's very easy to sell our AI agent right now, and I will tell you why. When you have like 20 reactions per day, usually as like your maximum, and you go to 800, 900, like from your first post. So most of our clients that we onboarded this month, they went viral. Usually what happens is that they want to bring more colleagues to the Inboundr. And it's like, can you activate this employee, or can you activate this, like, my chief of revenue? And like now it's like with one user, we get like 5 users. And, my system crashed yesterday just because of, the number of people who want their post at 8 a.m. So I still have to fix that. But yeah, that's what I think make them realize the value and pay for, for the price. Again, is not exaggerating. So AI agent is more costly than a normal LLM. So it does everything for you. It research topics, you read a ton of articles, and this is very costly even like in terms of tokens, and also computing.
So just to follow on that, sorry, Rod, you mentioned something super interesting. So with software, what we understand previously, which is there is no marginal cost, which means you build your code one time and then you'll be able to sell. But it sounds like with AI agent, because the cost of token, you have the marginal cost, even though you're providing marginal value to your clients. It's just you probably hope the marginal value that you provide to your clients outpaces the marginal cost, and therefore you can capture some of the marginal value so that to basically add value to the company. So love to hear a little bit about how you think about that.
Yeah. So actually, our pricing right now is super simple. We didn't want to complicate it. You still pay per user. People are used to this way of paying, which means that we are preparing for that value as a service pricing, where, like, for example, when you see Salesforce, they charge you for Slack $5, I think, or something like that. And then they have their AI agent that is plugged to Slack, and now you pay $2 per conversation. You see, so it's not like you don't pay per seat, you pay per conversation. And that's what will start, the pricing that you will start seeing everywhere in other startups and SaaS products mostly. You never know the real cost until you build it, actually, because you have the development phase where you try multiple prompts and data sources, and so you end up consuming a huge amount of tokens to find that best quality, and then you have to sell it. So finding the right pricing is always like a headache for startups. Yeah, so that's the short answer, folks.
Hatem, I'm sure that many of these concepts for some of our audience members might be too abstract. I've already seen Inboundr, you already showed it to me, but of course, Chris, Max, and our audience has never seen before. Would it be possible for you to show it to us now, to walk us through? Because I'm sure that once they see, they will realize, wow, it will really click. And for me, it's very obvious now. But just describing all agents in Slack and so on, it might be a bit too abstract for many people.
Sure, I can show you my my own Slack. Hope I don't reveal any startup secrets. Okay, I will try to find the screen. So if you look this Slack, you'll have like that app section here. So we built Inboundr in a way that it fits with your work environment. So you don't have to go to any other website or browser. Just you will receive everything here. All the communication happens with. So we have the internal insights, and basically this is all the discussions in Slack channels. So in our case, we let Inboundr record all our channels, and every day it gets topics from it. And then we have the external trends, which is new articles that were published, researches, and it's not the same articles for everyone. Depends a lot on reasonable a bit. Depends a lot on your configuration. So here, for example, my pillar is entrepreneurial stories. I love to share like other people's success, and why I share it is because I want to be a thought leadership. And so with these two configurations, we know what type of, art suppose we should, the AI will propose you. And if you want to write a post, let's say about the Adobe advocacy program here that I didn't know about, I can just click create, choose my tone. So I can use other people's tone. Let's say, personally, I like Adam Robinson tone and the way he is writing his posts. And also, my purpose from this is to build thought leadership and maybe spread awareness about the advocacy programs. And I select, and then what will happen is that Inboundr will go and try to, find all the new articles about it. Analyze also your LinkedIn profile, your previous posts, and find you right to the, a post that is authentic for today, not just authentic for last year. It's something that builds your, public story, right? It's like you want to, there is some storytelling on it. And that's what Inboundr capture well. So it takes, since there's a lot of data to process, and if you want to build an agent, be conscious about that cloud providers, they will not offer you unlimited resources, especially when it comes to LLMs. They will limit you to a certain number of tokens per minute. And if you hit that limit, you will they will shut you down from the system. So this is why it's taken now 60 seconds. You need to negotiate always your contract with them to get more tokens every time. And they're very, protective of the token. And so every time I reach the limit, I call them saying, can you please give us a little bit more? So they give us a little bit more to process more data faster. Yeah, so this is my post. So 561% more reach than corporate channels. That's what happened when Adobe let their employees tell their story. So this is the hook. You see, the hook is very numbers. Some people, a lot of people on LinkedIn like numbers, percentage or millions, things like that. So Inboundr knows what people like on LinkedIn for your specific field. And now, you see, the hook is okay, let me know more about how they did it, and then you go to the second phrase here, and you remember, when you scroll on the feed, you will see always 3 lines, but then you have to click more to see everything. So your hook needs to be really good to make people check everything, and then they go how they did it. You see the percentages here. And also you had the reference, where this data come from. It's not just you posting something that you don't know where it comes from. We give you where, what's the source of this data. And if you don't like it, if you want to change it, you can do that. Let's say I can add add more statistics from Gartner. I trust Gartner. I don't trust any other sources. Okay, let's regenerate. And now you will see that Inboundr will go to the web again, find anything that was mentioned about this topic from Gartner, and now find the best, percentages or insightful things, and fit it in your post. Just to do this research, a ghostwriter would take 5-6 hours just of research, reading articles. And, especially if you want to find the latest version of it, it's really hard. So this is why one of our business proposition is that we give you the best insights to include to your post in seconds.
I also like the joke. What's the difference between roast beef and pea soup?
Yeah, that was it. You know why I did that? Because we demo Inboundr, we demo Inboundr every day, at least 5-6 times. So we needed something to basically an elevator music. Yeah.
Did you write the joke or did the AI agent write the joke?
Actually, there's a database online for that jokes, and we are using that one.
I've been thinking about the flow. So now is you generate the post, but what about generating replies for posts, right? Because one thing is, of course, people posting content, but other things also engaging with others' contents. So would you have soon or in the future, or maybe are considering also the ability of saying that the LinkedIn profile of a person can go and reply if, let's say, Chris posts something, so Inboundr agent goes and replies, say, great post, Chris, I like it so much, or something like that?
Yeah, actually, we did the proof of concept, and people like it as a feature. That it's super in demand. It's just like with the small team, we need to be conscious of like how we don't burn out our devs. But it will be ready on like mid-February, so in a month from now. So people will be able to, like, basically Inboundr will propose you comments. It will detect people who commented on your post and propose you a comment that works for your personal brand. Yeah, so that's what you're building. It's still like in testing mode. We have it internally, just we cannot release it yet.
And let's imagine that Inboundr is very successful. So every post that is coming on LinkedIn was generated with Inboundr and never reply. Where will be the space for human interaction? Will there still be human interaction on LinkedIn, or are we approaching a future where it's only agents talking to each other and then humans are somewhere else doing something different?
Yeah, actually, we don't want to reach that point. The whole reason of doing this is to make the LinkedIn authentic, because probably you open your feed, it's a lot of ChatGPT posts there. Like, people don't even know what they are talking about, and just like it was proposed by ChatGPT, so they post. And we want to reach a point where like you really like build connections with people who you want to build your personal brand. So this is just like a way to do it faster, right? And not spend like becoming an influencer and like forgetting about your responsibility as the C-level. Posting is a way to get leads, but then from that moment is your responsibility to take that lead and build the network and build the communication. Yeah.
So the idea is to get the foot on the door with maybe like an agentic process, an AI that is generating the text, but then the follow-ups, the subsequent engagement should be human, should be natural.
Yeah. So that's what we recommend. AI is a tool. Treat it as a tool. Don't like let do your job, and so because you get replaced very quickly. I heard from yesterday one of the CEO of the big company. Even here, it was like, even me, I can be replaced. Inboundr can write, like, AI now can write emails, can write anything. So even the CEO can be replaced when you think about it. So we don't want that. We want really like human connections, real human connections, real people, real authentic people. So any feature we build it for that purpose. And yeah, so I don't wish that LinkedIn or any other social media is like 100% AI. Otherwise it would be stupid to waste your time on that platform. I see, now YouTube is a lot of AI generated videos. I don't know if you see that on YouTube, but the short video most of the times, like, it's like fake voice, fake video. I don't know how people create that, but it's like makes the platform very, very bad experience in general. Yeah, so I talked about the external trends. The last one, actually, I did forget to show you the result from Gartner. So we asked the AI to look for Gartner references, and if you go down, you see that it included the Gartner research about employee advocacy, and it gives you the source. It tells you where it was mentioned. So if you go to number 3, let me expand this a little bit. So number 3 somewhere, if you find it, let me know. Yeah, here. So three times more likely to be seen in industry. So this is coming from Gartner. Yeah, so we can do this any number of times, and it will work all the time. The other way to create content is through your active mode. Usually, personally, I like YouTube. So I watch a lot of YouTube videos, like this one, for example. So I send it the YouTube URL, and all what I have to click is generate post. And now it will go to YouTube, analyze, I say, insights from, this is my topic, we say insights from the, this guy, Andrew. And I want to enable internet search too. And then I choose my purpose, why I want to post, thought leadership, generate leads, for example. And then if I click submit, I will get the post from this YouTube video, and it will mention, Andrew, who's an expert in machine learning, this guy here. He talked about a lot about AI agents, and I will say, okay, Andrew think this about AI agents, right? And this is the type of post you want. And if it's your own podcast, it will realize, okay, it's Rod talking in this podcast. And you can say, okay, here are my takeaways from the last podcast, for example.
So, Hatem, if we give you the link to this episode, can Inboundr generate the promotional post for us?
Yeah. If you can try look at the previous podcast. I think we tried it throughout before. So we can. I think I have your podcast somewhere. If you go up, I sent it. I think it's this one, right? No. It's somewhere here. I'm sure I tried it before. This one.
There it is.
Okay,
So this one with Anna, yes.
Yeah. So let's try this one, just for fun. I don't know what was the subject, but let's say, tips and tricks from Anna about AI.
To be EU Act compliant.
You are compliant.
EU AI Act compliant, yes.
Yeah. Okay, that's right. Got leadership. Maybe also I will spread on our awareness about this, and they won't.
Compliant, no? No.
Yeah, that's okay. It will fix. If you have some typos, it will fix itself. No.
Okay.
Cool. And while it's generating, and just for the last minutes of our session today, Hatem, which advice would you have for other founders? Earlier in our conversation, you were saying that, for example, you were expecting the first version of Inboundr will take around 2 weeks, and that was extremely optimistic. So which learnings would you like to pass to other founders that are building in AI, that are building with AI agents?
We'll go to the basic of business. So solve a problem. Don't look for solutions. Look for a problem. So I especially when you're a technical founder, you get in love with the solution. You want to build the best technology and scalable, and you know probably that. Right? So we forgot about the clients completely. It happened to me multiple times, and I think if you put your client in the center of any product, you will get like something that people will pay for. If you put yourself on your ambition of building the best software and the center of your startup, you will fail 100%, because people will pay only when you solve their problem, their pain. And if there is no pain, and it's just like your imagination, and you never asked people if there is real pain and how much time it takes them to write a post, for example, you will never know that this problem is good to solve with AI or not. No, some problems don't need AI at all.
You're absolutely right. So even if we are in the era of AI, it makes so much sense. The first thing, do I need AI at all for this problem? Yeah, absolutely. And Hatem, where can people find you? How can people reach out? How can people get started with Inboundr?
So you can reach out on LinkedIn or go to our website, Inboundr.ai. You can book a call with my co-founder, Sean. He will onboard you, help you define your pillars, your purpose of like posting. So he do like basically an onboarding, but at the same time help you define what kind of brand you want. And with that, you are good to go. Every day you will receive your trend topics, and hopefully you will be consistent on posting. And this is how we can build, your personal brand with us.
There it is for everyone, right? So go to Inboundr.ai, sign up, get onboarded. I actually had my onboarding yesterday, so I'm looking forward to start using it. And now we see. So here we can finalize our show with the post that Inboundr generated for us with our episode with Anna. So maybe you can show it to us some more.
You check, this time is a peak. It's 10 a.m. at, Ottawa time. So I was wondering if, a lot of people are generating posts right now. Again, when you're a startup, we don't have a limited, it's by priority. Whoever clicks first, he will get the post first. Let me check if my post will get generated. Maybe it's also by, who knows? And also, like, that's something else about startups. You never know what kind of bugs you will have. So like just yesterday, our data provider went down. It wasn't our fault. You see, so anything can go down, and usually it's not your fault or your dad's fault. You just live with it.
We will be sharing the post generated with Inboundr on our social. That's for sure. So I would say that with this, we can wrap up today's session. So everyone, remember to like, subscribe, join our newsletter on chrisrodmax.com. And of course, so contact Hatem, register for Inboundr, start doing more social media, create your personal brand. And thanks so much for being here this week with us, Hatem. It was very insightful and we learned a lot from you.
Thanks, Rod. Chris, Max. It was a pleasure. Let me know when you're want to start. And yes, and last advice, Rod, start as soon as possible. Like advice for everyone. I started late and I regret it. So every time I meet with people, it's like, I build this for you, for people who are busy, who work hard, but don't have time to build personal brand. And so this was the whole goal. So anytime there's a hard worker start posting, I get like very happy. So please reach out if you need some help.
Very motivational. So everyone, don't overthink it, just do it. Then see you everyone.